Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. I'm not ready for this episode. I have a feeling the phrase, I'm not ready for this episode, is going to happen a lot with this show. And y'all are terrifying me because as I'm recording this, I'm just now getting to like episodes 17 to 18 on YouTube, and I'm recording this a little bit ahead, and y'all are like, oh, season 1, those were the good old days. And I'm like, I'm freaking out with this season. Y'all are telling me like seasons 3 and 4 are miles beyond this. I don't know if my body is ready for that. You know the meme where it's like my body is ready? I don't think mine is. Yeah, so there's that. But yeah, last episode ended with it just was too good to be true, right? I feel like Eren cursed the whole thing. He was like, this is what happens when we trust the squad and everything's gonna be great. And I'm like, stop saying that out loud. You're like, oh God, what was his name? Franz and the girl way back in episode 5, like quit cursing everything, because as soon as he said that, the female Titan called in the aid of the other Titans who literally cannibalized her to get out of the predicament. But the worst part of it all is that Erwins figured out that, yeah, there's a human inside the female Titan and they're posing as a squad member. And that's deadly because Gunther's already dead. Like, just right off the bat, I'm like, like I said at the end of last episode, I'm really worried about Petra. I'm really worried about Oro. I'm not too worried about Eren because Eren can at least turn into a Titan. And I think if he's going to do it, now's the time. I said that back in episode 18 or 19. I was like, it was episode 19. I was like, oh, now's the time to turn into a Titan. No. Now is the time. So, we're on episode 21. We're getting to the end game of season 1, which is crazy to me. And so I'm not going to talk too much about what we're going to do after season 1 until we get to like episode 25. We'll wait till then. We got lots of ground to cover before that point, but I feel like I'm in uncharted waters. Obviously, it's dangerous that this person is with Eren and the group because they are clearly a skilled member to be able to just get to Gunther like that, which further solidifies that it's Annie, because who else would have prowess in that ability? I mean, the question is, if it is Annie, what's going to happen when Eren and them find out? That's the question. Or are they just going to turn into a Titan before Eren can see that it's Annie? I don't know. Eren has seen the female Titan, so I don't know what to do with that. But lots of questions, lots of big question marks. I feel like a sim in the game The Sims. I feel like a sim just running around with question marks being like, I feel like that. And so we just need to dive into this episode, rip off the Band-Aid, and get it over with. So we're going to start episode 21, Crushing Blow. Crushing Blow makes me think that bad things are going to happen to Levi's squad. It could be that bad things happen to the female Titan, but knowing this show and how sadistic it is, it's probably going to be bad things happening to Levi's squad, which I'm not ready. But what can we do? I signed up for this. I've got to do it. I guess I don't have to, but I'm going to because I have to know. So I'm done rambling. We're going to do this in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Now. Well, this episode was pain. This episode was painful. Quite painful. Because it's so frustrating how painful this episode was. Because we lost them. We lost Petra, Oro, and Eld, and Gunther. All of them are dead. Thanks to this female Titan. But there's a lot going on in this episode. There's quite a bit going on. And a lot of disturbing implications that I have a feeling are going to come back later on in this show. I feel like they're going to come back. They're pretty disturbing. I have some thoughts that from this episode I'm going to hold on to. I'm going to keep them tucked away until we get later on in the show, because there's a couple thoughts I have that I'm going to keep tucked away for now. And I want to see later on in seasons 2, 3, and 4 if they come to fruition or they come to light more. So I've got some thoughts, and I'm going to keep those thoughts hidden for now. But we need to talk about this episode. Oh my God. It's so frustrating, okay? Because I feel like I feel like characters like Eren and Jean and Armin all are having to face the price of leadership, the price of war, the price of being part of a team. They all have to deal with that. And so you have these characters that are kind of lone wolf characters, like Annie, like Eren, who are used to doing things by themselves. And they think that I can just get the job done by myself. And if this female Titan is Annie, yeah, they're getting the job done pretty well. But there's a lot of implications with this too. So this episode's so frustrating because of Eren's mindset. And I think I've said this in other reactions, but Eren is such a unique and interesting protagonist because I want to root for him. I do. But he's a problematic protagonist. He really is. He's got a lot of problematic things about him. And I really feel like your characters like Eren, like Levi and Jean are more like your, when I think of a protagonist in a series, Levi and Jean, especially Levi, is more like the protagonist I think you normally get, right? And then Jean is such a cool protagonist because he's very relatable to us as the audience, because how we, the audience, would be in this actual scenario, Jean kind of represents that. So those two characters, Jean and Levi, I really like because they're compassionate, they're smart, they have good leadership sense, they have good sense about camaraderie and teamwork. Jean gets problematic because he's a coward, but that's what makes him relatable and that you want to root for him. Sometimes Eren has a very, very bleak, narrow, black and white viewpoint on things, and I just want to like hold him by the shoulders and go, and I'm like, you need to listen to Jean. There's been several episodes in this series so far that I wish Eren could have been a fly on the wall when Jean had a monologue or Armin had a monologue, because I feel like the things that Jean and Armin have learned over the course of this series, I wish Eren had learned with them so that he could have seen the same. Because when we talk about when Eren starts to lament the fact that he wasn't there to save his, that he should have transformed earlier, that he shouldn't have relied on his teammates, I'm like, you're not wrong. It's like Levi said, you're not wrong, but what I'm afraid of is that Eren is going to shed the entire concept of teamwork and camaraderie because of this moment, because of this episode. I feel like this episode is a big stepping stone into a direction. And I want to save my thoughts on that until we get later on in the series, but especially when it comes to Eren. But I feel like Eren's decision to transform into the Titan, it had to happen, right? It had to happen because at that point, Oro and Petra and Eld were dead. But his contemplation, his thoughts on it being too late, I don't know if I entirely agree with, because it's kind of going back to what Jean said. Jean was lamenting losing all of those soldiers during Trost because he was like, if I had made this decision, then this could have happened. But like we talked about in the last episode, in Erwin Smith's episode, Armin says, you can't live life thinking, what should I have done? You can't do that because there's too many variables. There's too many factors. Yeah, you could have done that in the past, but it's in the past. It's too late. You can only focus on the present. And so I feel like Jean, Eren, and Armin are all going through different phases and different viewpoints on the philosophical argument of when do you do the thing, right? And I feel like Armin is like, you can't focus on the past. You just have to focus on the future and the present. And the past you leave behind. Jean's mindset is more like, we need to take our past experiences and have them influence our future decisions. Because as we've noticed with Jean's character, he has evolved and developed as the series has gone on based on what's happened. Armin has always been looking forward. Armin has always been like, let's look forward. Let's think of what the next plan is. Let's think of the next strategy. Jean has been like, what did we learn from the past and how do we implement it into the future? Whereas Eren is very instinctual and is like, okay, let's just do the thing. And he's a very in the present person, but he's basing a lot of his present decisions on what he should have done rather than what happened. So this episode. So Erwin is under the impression that the colossal Titan was in fact someone on the inside. That's the first big point of this episode. Erwin is convinced that it was someone on the inside that had ODM gear, that was ready to go when they dissolved. And that makes perfect sense. I've been questioning the last couple of episodes, how did the Colossal Titan just instantly disappear? And Erwin's like, well, no, here's the thing. The Colossal Titan just turned back to a person, had the gear on already, was set to go, and just whipped out of sight while there was all that steam and the visibility was altered, and they just got away. So that makes a lot of sense. I guess what had kept me from thinking that was what Erwin says next. He's like, when Eren was transformed back into a human, his gear was destroyed, his uniform was gone. And I've talked about that in the last couple of reactions, and Erwin's logic is, this Titan ability is something you can master and get better and better at. So, by that logic, someone can train themselves to turn instantly into a Titan and can train themselves to turn in and back and forth and master that technique and then just instantly go back to being a person, go back to being a Titan like it's nothing. And Eren's downfall is he's just found out he has this ability over the last few months. He hasn't had time to train and get it. So that opens up a big old can of worms, right? Because that implies a few things. That implies, one, that the female Titan has had this ability for quite a while and has known how to use it and has trained on how to use it, right? So my question is, one, where the hell did they train that they could use this ability on and off and get to where they've mastered becoming human and turning back and forth into a Titan? Number one. Number two, where did they train? Because we have that big old crack of lightning coming down. Where did they train at that no one saw this coming, right? It had to be far away from the wall, right? Because everybody noticed the day that the Colossal Titan showed up. And since then, that crack of thunder, you've noticed the Titan showing up. So where did you train? How long has she been training? And here's the biggest question of all. Who has she been training with? Because someone had to have given her knowledge on how to turn into a Titan, how to master this power, how to do the things that she's done. She grabbed Eren using the technique that Levi was talking about to get him out of the nape without killing him. So how does that work? And oh my God, this episode, there's so much foreshadowing this. Back in episode 13, back in that episode, we had that one brief moment of Sasha looking at the big pile of gloop, and the one guy was like, oh yeah, this is Titan vomit. When they've ate their fill, they just throw up the mess because they can't digest it. What did she just do? She grabbed Eren and she swallowed him. She didn't eat him because back when she killed Eld, she basically chomped Eld in half, but she didn't eat Eld. She spit him back out. So she's grabbed Eren. She's stored Eren down in her little Titan mecha meat puppet body, and she's going to throw him back up when she gets back to home base. Ugh. So that's a risky move. That's a bold strategy, Cotton, because as we've seen, Eren got out of the last Titan by just making it blow up from the inside. So that's pretty risky on her part. What if Eren wakes up and decides to just smash his way out of her body? That's pretty terrifying, right? What if he smashes through the nape and kills her? That's a gamble. But like Erwin says, Erwin establishes the enemy is willing to risk everything. She was willing to have Titans literally cannibalize and eat her alive to escape. So she's probably willing to risk Eren smashing his way out of her Titan body if it gets him from point A to point B. So fascinating. She clearly wants to take Eren alive back to wherever she came from for reasons. So the question is why? Why now? For what purpose? For whom? Has this ability been training the whole time for this mission? What's been the point? We'll touch back on this when we get to Armin's dialogue with Jean. But Erwin's commenting to Hanji saying, our enemy is thinking outside the box and getting creative and is not playing by any rules. They are basically doing whatever it takes to succeed. So for us to succeed as well, we're going to have to take some significant risks and gamble quite a bit. And that's pretty terrifying. So I love the duo of Armin and Jean, for the record. Jean and Armin, for the record, Best duo. I love them together because they just bounce ideas off of each other so interestingly. And Armin is always thinking of all these different strategies, and Jean is always trying to rationalize things. Armin is kind of an idealist, and he's kind of a dreamer in a sense that he comes up with all these amazing ideas. And then Jean kind of brings him back to reality and is like, okay, but how does that work? And Armin has to explain and walk through it. So this conversation they have, right when we cut to them at the start of this episode, is them rationalizing something happened in Trost that changed the game. Something went down that wasn't supposed to. And I think what it is that Eren, I don't know if the opposition, whoever is, we've clearly got the Titan faction over here. We've got the wall and all the corps that go with it, the garrisons, the survey corps, the military police, whatever. And then we have this mysterious third party. Now, the third party could be the government. The third party could be the royal family. The third party could be some underground revolution, some cult. We don't know, but there's a third party involved, right? That is connected to both of these, but is still acting separately. And clearly, this third party's goal was to break down the gates. Like the Colossal Titan back 5 years ago broke down the gate at Shiganshina, and then the Armor Titan came in and broke down the gate through Wall Maria. So that was a goal. So clearly the goal in this incident was to break down Wall Rose. And Eren's transformation, Armin, he's saying that they came through the gate at Trost, but they didn't even try for the inner gate. And even when Eren sealed it up, they let him. They let him. So it means that something is cause for concern now. Something more important than them breaching the walls happened. Something unexpected. And Jean is thinking, do we think that it was Eren's transformation? And I think that's it. Yeah, they didn't predict, because Eren's transformation kind of came out of nowhere. So Jean's realizing, okay, if these Titans all came in with the goal set to crush through Wall Rose, and then suddenly something derailed that, and if it's Eren's transformation, then they're rationalizing through it that someone who was there saw Eren transform and is the Titan. So the question is, the question is through all this, if Annie is the Titan, which I think it is, based on their skill, based on the look of the Titan, everything's pointing to Annie. But the question is, who was Annie Annie was clearly a double agent at this point. Who was Annie working for? Did they have reconnaissance with that? It could be there's more than one inside the wall. This organization has like leached its way through the wall and has scattered about. It's kind of like Hydra, right? It's like Hail Hydra from Captain America. Like the agents are everywhere and they all have the secret code with one another, but they're infiltrating the military and acting like part of the association or the organization, but it's really their own group. So the question is, did Annie, if it is Annie, or whoever the female Titan is, did they have reconnaissance with someone during the Trost battle once they saw Eren transform? And if so, how did the game change? How did the game plan change? So if the plan changed from break through Wall Rose to apprehend Eren, then, I mean, that would make sense. And I could see definitely how this organization would want to apprehend Eren and be like, hey, go get this other guy that can turn into a Titan. We need him. So, like, do they want to talk to Eren? Are they wanting to try to, like, explain their side of the story? What is happening? But why? You know, that whole thing. I feel so bad for Eren in this scene when they go back to Oro saving him. And it's the crushing blow of it all. The crushing blow is Eren's view of teamwork. He had just established the idea of trusting in someone else, because Eren's whole thing throughout this entire series so far has been Eren wants to fight for humanity, but he doesn't trust humanity at all. He doesn't trust, I mean, this goes back to even him and his dad saving Mikasa. His dad was like, wait here, don't go, we'll just wait it out and we'll go together. He didn't trust his dad. And he was proven right in not trusting his dad, because he ended up saving Mikasa and killing those guys. So his apprehension of trust was justified there. Back at Shiganshina at the start of this, he got mad at Hannes because Hannes didn't protect his mom, and Hannes is like, look, it's because you weren't strong enough. And Eren's like, well, I shouldn't have trusted anybody. I could have saved her myself. And Hannes is like, you weren't strong enough to do so. And so then Eren gets his power to be strong enough, but he doesn't have it mastered. And so the Levi squad tries to convince him to trust them. And he's like, no. In this moment, he's kicking himself because he's like, I shouldn't have trusted my teammates. I should have just, from the start, I should have gone after her way back before Erwin even sprung that trap. And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, you weren't wrong. And Levi tried to tell you that it is your choice. But here's the thing, Eren. But here's the thing. The problem is that you weren't wrong, but it also wasn't wrong to place trust in your teammates, right? Because there's going to be a time where it's been proven Eren can't do it all on his own, right? When he attacked Mikasa and them, if Mikasa and Ian and Armin had not protected him, he would have been dead. The Titans would have came at him and ripped him apart and cannibalized him and probably ate him, and that would have been the end of Eren. So the worst part is during that whole Battle of Trost, when Mikasa, Armin, and Ian's crew were protecting him, he didn't realize it and he didn't remember it. So he didn't know that in this moment, having that trust in your comrades was a good thing. And so all he sees is this moment where the Levi squad that he's built up in his head as being the end-all be-all of Titan killers, when they can't get the job done because there's this souped-up female Titan, when they can't get the job done, Eren blames himself and thinks that his whole trust in his teammates was misguided, but it wasn't. And that's why I wish Armin and Jean could have been there in this moment to talk to him, because as Jean and Armin have figured out, sacrifices are gonna happen. Eren frustrates me because I feel like his character is still having trouble grappling with the fact that, yeah, people are gonna die. You're in war. People are gonna die. You can't save everyone. Even if you're strong enough like you are, you can't save everyone. People are gonna die. That's just that's the nature of war. That's a part of a battle, is that a side is gonna lose players. And I feel like this whole series, Jean and Armin have come to terms with that, and Eren just isn't at that same point. He is thinking of himself as, it goes back to episode 3 and episode 5 when he's like, put all your strength in me. It goes back to episode 14 when he's in the trial room and he's like, rely on me, put all your strength in me. And it's like, Eren, that's cool. The savior metaphor is cool, that you want to be the end-all be-all hero to save humanity, but you can't do it on your own. And this episode kind of proves that. Even after they die and he faces that female Titan alone, yeah, he puts up a pretty good fight, but he's outmatched. And she takes advantage of it and takes him away. So it's like, Eren wants to be the savior protagonist that saves everybody. And in a lot of ways, he's justified because his teammates do die. But at the same time, he can't quite do it all by himself. And that's the problem. But God, it was hard seeing these three die. As soon as Eld died, I was like, nah, they're gonna die. And without even speaking to each other. And it's so sad because in this moment, Eren's like, yeah, it's because they believe in each other and they can overcome hardships. The power of Nakama. And the female Titan's just like, nope. And all of his faith in humanity is tested. And I have thoughts, but I want to save them. I want to tuck them away for now. And Levi's words, it's like Levi's not wrong that, yeah, you've got to trust your instincts, but also Levi's viewing it from both sides. He's like, you've got to trust your instincts. And here's the thing. This is the problem too. Levi's like, you got to trust your own ability, but you also need to have faith. Those people died. Petra, Oro, and Eld died so that Eren could get away. And what does he do? He turns right back around. And it's like, dude, this is, again, going back to Jean. Jean saved his fellow crew members during Trost because he had faith that his comrades were willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Eren, your friends died so that you could get away. Yeah, they died. Absolutely. But if you had just turned around and kept going, you probably could have outrun the female Titan and made it back to Levi and Erwin and the others. You probably could have done it. Maybe not, but there was a chance. But Eren can't do that. He is such a frustrating protagonist. I have a feeling I'm going to be saying that this whole series. And I just have other thoughts, and I'm going to save it. But oh my god, the kaiju battle time, right? The transformation of him into her, of him into the female. I'm looking at Petra on the screen as I say into her. The transformation is just, God. And of course, I had to show our dead bodies. That transformation, he's like, I'm gonna kill it. The transformation into the Titan form was so damn cool, and just him, feral, like just. There's something like primal and raw about this fight, about these two fighting, and it's almost like the female Titan in this battle was really freaky because she almost seemed like she didn't know what to do. And you could tell there was a weird moment where the female Titan's like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do? He's in Titan form. How do I handle this? He is freaking feral. And you could tell she just is like in slow motion, like, what do I do now? What's my next move? Like she is thinking it through in Titan form. Like, what is my next method of attack? And Eren's just like flailing, like instinct. Okay, but we got the title cards. I got Crunchyroll pulled up. Survey Corps horses. I like that in the middle of these two Titans coming at each other. The show's like, hey, we forgot to tell you about the horses. Let's pause for a moment. The horses of the Survey Corps were bred specifically for them and stand around 160 centimeters, weighing between 450 and 500 kilograms. So some pretty big horses, right? Obviously to handle the people in the gear. Their top speed is between 70 and 80 kilometers per hour. They can maintain speeds of 35 kilometers per hour, and horses are about the only way to escape a Titan. Makes sense. Makes some sense. Yeah, that's good to know. Good horse lesson as we're about to see these two Titans like go at each other. But yeah, so I find it curious that like her shoulders, the steam is from her shoulders healing. So that's interesting. And it looks like she still has one eye because she's focusing all her power into healing the parts of her other parts of her body. But there's a moment during this fight that, as I said, I'm questioning Eren as a protagonist. Things take a turn. And I want to get to that point because I was so shocked in the moment. I was like, wait, what? That the dialogue didn't quite register, and I want to get back to that. But so we see that Eren can in fact see her. He's got all the stuff hooked up. It looks different each time, which I don't know if that's just him gaining more control over the Titan ability. God, his eyes are just so feral though. They're like cat eyes. And we cut from Eren just being in a feral rage to probably my favorite part of the episode, which is probably the most beautiful, haunting part of the episode, because you have Eren, who is this ball of fury and rage, just going berserk. And then you cut to this scene in the trees, and it's just Levi slowly conserving his power, conserving his gas, and going past each and every one of his teammates that has died. And he sees Gunther, and he doesn't reflect. He sees Eld, and he just looks down. He sees Oro, and he just passes over. But it's Petra that he stops at. It's Petra that he stops and looks down at that's dead. And his eyes are shadowed, and she's just like crushed up against the tree. And I'm sorry, but that shot of him and his expression, just that quiet, calm, cold fury, because Eren has only known these people for like weeks. Levi has known these people for years and has forged bonds with these people. And they're all 4 just suddenly dead at once. And he is just he blinks like once looking down at her and then keeps on moving. And that, I think Levi is more terrifying than Eren in that moment, because Levi has the experience and the constitution to keep all that fury in and controlled. Even when he finds Mikasa, and thank God he saved Mikasa. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But oh my God. But that calm fury, that scares me more than this Titan battle. That moment scares me more than anything with Eren and the female Titan, except for this one part coming up, because I'm rewatching the episode. That part is that's my favorite part of the episode, is Levi just calmly and quietly building up that fury. Like I think at this point, if they capture the female Titan and bring them hostage, I think Levi will kill them. I don't know. But we'll talk about that. So Eren saying I made the wrong choice and going through this whole debacle, the thing about it is, again, the female Titan is questioning and still trying to make the right play. And so she like ducks her head to move, and his whole arm and everything's destroyed. And she's like probably being like, what the hell is he thinking? What do I do? And Eren's like, if I had believed in myself and fought from the start, yeah, if I'd only killed it at the beginning. And that's the thing. It starts out this conversation, this monologue he has. Yeah, Eren's problem is he didn't have faith in himself and his ability. And we saw that back in episode 19, that he was having trouble finding his goal and believing in himself. So on the one hand, yeah, you should have believed in yourself and had confidence in your ability. That would have made a difference. But also, the whole idea of negating the trust you had in your comrades, I don't think he should throw that away, and I think he's throwing that away, and that concerns me. And so yeah, you can see that the female Titan's trying to grow that eye back, and them just staring at each other is so awkward. And back then, if I'd turned into a Titan, no, if I'd fought, oh my gosh, even before that. It's like, what I'm afraid of, and he says Captain Levi was there too, we would have won. So he clearly, we could have captured it. So he clearly still has faith that Levi is strong enough to handle this female Titan. He still clearly has faith in that. And Levi giving him validation is a thing. And they're awkwardly healing each other and staring at each other. It's like so kind of raw and primal and kind of sexual in a way. Does anybody else get that vibe? Kind of. It's weird. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's a male and female Titan, if that's the thing. But I think if it was a guy Titan underneath him, I think I'd still have the same thoughts too. But him saying it's my fault they died. It's like, no, it's not your fault. But despite all that, it's still your fault. And him just screaming at the female Titan, and the female Titan just sitting there taking it. Like, I wish I could know what the female Titan is thinking of in that moment, and I hope that we get some kind of flashback to that, because she just like turns her head like, I get it. I get why you're screaming at me, but I got a job to do. And that makes me wonder who she's working for. Like, who's she working for? Because she just turns her head like she understands the emotion he's feeling, but she just turns her head and takes it. And it's like, who are you working for? Why are you doing this? This is the part, though, that makes me nervous about Eren, because he's like, I'll tear you apart. Once my hand heals, I'll rip you apart. I'll tear you to shreds. And here's the thing, like, the Titan starts to like malfunction, and its eyes go into wonky different directions, and it's like having tremors and shaking, and says, I'll tear you into tiny pieces and I'll eat you. And we cut to the little shot of Eren's face, and he's smiling. He is smiling like a damn maniac, like a freaking psychopath. Okay? And that's when Annie's like, nope! Because she sees the Titan freaking out and malfunctioning. So that's the problematic part about this episode, that again, I'm going to tuck this knowledge away for later, but the idea that like how much in control are you of the Titan, and how much is the Titan influencing you, Eren? Because up until now, Eren nor the female Titan have eaten anybody. They've not eaten a thing. She consciously spit Eld back out. She did not eat him. None of the Survey Corps members she's killed, she has eaten. And Eren has not eaten anybody either. But in that moment, he was so consumed with rage and hatred and guilt and negative emotions that he made the conscious thought that I'll eat this female Titan and rip her to tiny bits. I'm like, that's kind of the logic that the Titans have against humans. So that's making me be like, is that like a conscious thing with the Titans that want to just eat people? Because we've made the observation that they don't attack animals. They don't attack anybody but humans. So I'm like, I know at some point we're going to get Titan lore. And I'm kind of waiting for that moment, because this is getting into some murky waters here. And I don't know exactly what to think about it, because we've not gotten far enough into the show. But that line, I'll rip you into tiny pieces and eat you, while his Titan is like freaking out and Eren's smiling like a freaking maniac, that's concerning. That's all I'm going to say, is that is quite concerning, y'all. I have problems with that. And then them just wrestling, and he's still malfunctioning, like freaking out. And that gave the female Titan enough time to gain their wits about them, to regain. This female Titan has been a Titan long enough and has trained long enough to know how long it takes for them to regenerate, how long it takes for them to get their strength back. They turned back into a human and flitted around and knew when to turn back into a Titan. So we are dealing with an experienced opposition, whereas Eren is just a fresh person. But God, yeah, just clearly Eren is the stronger of the two, I think, as far as being in Titan form, but he is so inexperienced and so blinded by his rage that he isn't being effective in his blows. The female Titan knows to harden their skin, to do this, etc. I mean, he's got the instinct and power, but he doesn't have the finesse or the technique to back it up. It's kind of like him in the Survey Corps when he was in the 104th, not the Survey Corps, but the 104th Regiment. The overall instructor was like, Eren is not the smartest, he's not a strategist, he's not the strongest, but he has the most drive and the most gut instinct, and that's what gives him confidence. But I hated that my computer freezed right at the point where she smashed the tree. It froze right at that point. I was like, why? That was the worst point to freeze on. But she turns around and realizes he's strong, but he's not that strong yet. And we need to take care of this before he figures things out. And that whole thing with the tree. I'm glad that he was in the neck and not the head, because, oh buddy, oh boy, that was a lop it off. And then of course Mikasa comes in at the right time and is just like, you took my man. And the idea of the Titan, like its mouth opening up, is disgusting. But she knows exactly what to do to get him out of there alive. Like, she knew exactly where to bite and to pick him out. So I'm like, did you train and have to do all this? I'm also glad that y'all had me watch the Funimation version of this, because going back to Crunchyroll, yeah, the animation is a bit wonkier in the Crunchyroll version than the Funimation, and so I'm glad you had me watch the good version first. But, so, Mikasa, so she didn't chew him up, she just swallowed him, so he's down in the pit, which, oh my god, when we watch the OP next episode, in the OP, he's in the pit of the stomach. This OP, oh my god. Great times. But Mikasa's problem is, Mikasa is usually calm and collected like Levi, but she is way too emotionally attached to Eren. She can be calm, cool, and collected, but when it comes to Eren, she loses all rationality, and that's her biggest fault. It's like, girl, you need to, which you say that, but it's like, girl, your love for Eren is kind of your undoing. It's your weakness. Your love is your strength, but it's also your weakness. Like, double-edged sword indeed. But I'll be honest, y'all, I've been waiting for Levi and Mikasa to team up for quite a while. And the ending of this, I'm so glad Levi saved her. And he's like, cool heads, cool heads, cool heads. So even after all that, even after Levi watched 4 of his squad members die at the hands of this female Titan, rather than do like what Eren did and freak out, he was like, no, we need to be rational about this. And so it makes sense that Levi is a 30-year-old man. He's had like 15 more years of experience than these guys. So it makes sense, right? But, oh my God. And yeah, she knows Eren's alive. And he's like, no matter where she goes, I'll kill her and rip her apart and get you out of that filth. So she kind of has, it's a similar mindset to Eren. He's like, I'll rip you apart. But she still retains that humanity that Eren in that moment did not. She retains the humanity of, I'm going to save you, which is a very human thing to do. Eren was like, I'm just going to rip you apart and eat you. And she's like, I'm going to save you, Eren. So that little difference of humanity is a big deal, right? But, oh God. And she's like, just wait a little bit longer, which granted, they can't digest him. So the one good thing about all this is that Eren's safe in the belly of the female Titan because he can't be digested. There's no acid or anything to like dissolve him. But then, yeah, Levi coming in and being like, fall back. Like, I get why you're mad. I get it, but we need to conserve our gas, maintain our distance. She's tiring out. She's not going as fast as she used to. We need to think. Cooler heads prevailing, right? Is Eren dead? And then he's not. That was a weird ending to that Crunchyroll version. It just kind of like goes into a different color. Yeah, we all know that Eren's not dead. It's fine. But, oh my God. Oh my God. So, yeah. So I've wanted Mikasa and Levi to team up since the start of this, since we were introduced to Levi and fully got his character, and it looks like we're going to get that. So my hope is that Mikasa puts aside her hatred for Levi for a moment until they are able to face the female Titan. And I'm sure that Levi's going to tell her next episode, be like, look, 4 of the best squad members just died facing this Titan. We can't trifle with her. She's not to be taken lightly. We just need to follow behind her and wear her down and then go to save Eren. So this show, though, add 3 more to the RIP list. I'm planning on doing like an in memoriam at the end of season 1 for this, of the characters that are named. And it's going to be a doozy already. And we still have 4 more episodes. So yeah, crushing blow. Lots to talk about, but the episode's rough. So yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. I'm sure with all my theorizing, I've asked y'all not to spoil me. So I'm sure y'all are sitting there like biting your knuckles being like, Romania. But just think, at some point in this show, we'll be able to look back on this episode and talk about these theories. And I'm making notes in my notebook to come back to this episode a while later, because there are thoughts that I have that I want to save for as we get into later seasons, especially if Eren's still alive for those later seasons. So we'll save it for then. But in the meantime, I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please feel free to comment down below. Please no spoilers, or if you're going to give spoilers, put a tagline that says, Romania, do not read past this point, and I won't. But in the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon with episode 22 of Attack on Titan. Bye.